Sagittarius, this is your energy check-in love reading. We're tuning into the person on your mind or your current situation and the energy unfolding for you right now. Let's see what wants to come through. Clear messages, advice, and guidance for my Sagittarius, please. All right, so we see the Page of Wands. That's Aries, Leo, Sag energy. Your person, the Ace of Cups in reverse. All right, they're viewing you as the Four of Cups. You have somebody here that is either feeling rejected by you or really regretting making you feel that way. What we're seeing is oppression in reverse. Now, in the traditional Rider-Waite Tarot, this is the Devil card, Capricorn energy. And the final outcome is the Five of Wands in reverse. Okay, that's healing conflict or just removing drama from your life. Let's see. And we see the Queen of Wands. Saggies, you are in your power. Queen of Wands energy. Aries, Leo, Sag. You're sexy, you're attractive, you're successful, you know what you want, you know what you deserve. You're not ready to drop your standards or your expectations. Now with the Page of Wands, it's like you're ready to take some sort of leap of faith, but we can see here that she's kind of looking back. All right, she's looking back. So I don't know if you're looking back at this connection before you move on fully, or you're looking back before you take a leap of faith here towards this person. Just a little, I don't want to say a little second guess, but just a little bit of hesitation that we don't normally see with the Page of Wands. You're in control here, Sag. I see that you're very grounded, you're very centered in yourself, and you're very much in control is what I'm seeing. The Eight of Swords energy in reverse. Yeah, you freed yourself from karmic habits, cycles, relationships. You know, I feel like part of you is, you may have picked up on something here within this connection that you felt would be a repeating pattern. I don't know if you started to see red flags, or you just, you know, you're really good at pattern recognition by now, and you're seeing something that was like, you know what, I don't do this, you know, or this doesn't really work for me. Let's slow things down, prove to me who you are, or straight up, I'm out, okay? Now you're viewing this person as the Five of Wands, fighting, bickering, and arguing. So there was maybe a little bit too much tension in this connection for you, Sag. All right, the Five of Wands, too much tension, too much, like I said, fighting, bickering, and arguing, maybe like personality or ego clashes here. Maybe you feel like this person let too many other people interfere in this connection, or they weren't giving you the attention that you fully, truly deserve. All right, and you're viewing the relationship as the Ace of Cups, though. You see this relationship as one that has or had a lot of potential. I'm not sure all of you are convinced that this has potential. I do feel like you started seeing patterns that made you uncomfortable, or there was too much tension too early on in the connection, and you stood your ground. Now, I do see some of my Saggies, you are still willing to see where this goes, but you're cautious and you're very discerning, because there have already, I don't want to say they're red flags that have popped up. For some of you, they might be red flags, but for others of you, it's like, all right, my body, my heart, my mind has clocked that there's something that makes me feel a little bit uncomfortable, makes me worried. I'm seeing 12-12 right now. That makes me feel worried that this isn't going to be long term, or this is something that is not going to be worth my investment. The Ace of Cups in reverse. Your person, again, may not be able to give and receive love the way that you do, or they may have unhealed wounds. This can also be somebody here who's very worried they've missed an opportunity, because it does look like, my Saggies, you've rejected or you've shut down. Now, for some of you, you may have just set boundaries. And sometimes people, especially people who are a little bit unhealed, take boundary setting as rejection, okay? So why do we have the Ace of Cups in reverse here, the Justice card, okay? So they may feel like there's been a final decision here. For a lot of my Saggies, I actually don't get that you've made a final decision. I actually feel like you've made a decision to either pull back, or we need to talk about certain things here. But I actually don't think your decision is that final. I think you're just sort of like, I need to watch and wait and see what happens. This person may also feel like maybe you acted unfairly. Again, I feel this person doesn't understand healthy boundaries. Okay, like you may have set healthy boundaries and they're taking that as rejection. That's what I'm getting. We see the 9 of Pentacles. Okay, so your person may be somebody who's very independent. They might struggle within relationships or finding that balance between independence and interconnectedness. This person may be acting aloof or cold right now, acting single, like everything's fine, but I don't see that it really is fine behind the scenes for them. And 2 of Cups, yeah, they want this union with you. They feel like this is a soulmate connection. They feel like this could be really something really good. All right, now with the 4 of Cups, they're worried that you're going to reject them or you have rejected them. You're not emotionally available to them. All right, 2 of Pentacles. They feel like you've made a final decision here, and I don't think you have yet, Sag. Some of you have, but a lot of you, I don't think you've made a final decision. 7 of Wands, they see you as a force to be reckoned with. They might be used to, I feel like this person has kind of a strong personality. And I'm getting they might be used to like setting boundaries or setting the tone within a relationship, and they weren't able to do that with you. And that's where there were some clashes, right? So they feel like you're very strong, you're set in your ways, you're decisive. Okay, but I also think that there's also something exhilarating about that too, where even though they're worried that you've rejected them or they're taking it as rejection, there's a part of them that's making them want to fight for you. And we see the 5 of Swords in reverse. They want to heal things with you. But I also think they realize that you're a much stronger opponent than they thought that you were going to be. Now, I know in a relationship, especially one that feels a bit nascent or like it's beginning, we shouldn't be thinking of like, oh, this is my opponent, right? But I do think that there's a little bit of competition within this connection. You decide if that's something that works for you. I know, like myself, for example, I don't like that energy, but some people do thrive off of a little bit of tension and competition within connections. And my Saggies, you might like that. That might be what, feels like is like the driving force forward. Strength card. Yeah, Leo energy. But I do feel like this person does want to heal things, but they're worried that you've made up your mind and that, you're going to just, protect your decisions, protect yourself and stand strong in your decisions that you've made. But Sagittarius energy is a mutable sign, right? You guys are a mutable sign, and as powerful and fiery as you are open to, if you show me, I can change my mind. If you give me proof, I'll change my mind, right? Like, so you're not as fixed as, for example, Leo energy. All right. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I mean, I think that, it's important to kind of stay fluid. But oppression energy in reverse behind the scenes, this person is a bit pessimistic. I also feel like they're a bit stubborn. But I also feel like this person is recognizing there are certain patterns that need to change, patterns that they've repeated in their connections or within this connection. 7 of Swords, they're starting to see clearly something here needs to change. They want to move on from unhealthy habits and patterns. I think this person wants to make it work. The 5 of Cups, they're feeling the consequences of their actions. They're feeling hurt. They're feeling disappointed here. Okay, and the Star card, they're seeing a future. They want to heal things. They want to do things differently. Aquarius energy is, you know what? I think I actually need to make some changes. Or I'm open to seeing Sagittarius's way of being or doing things. Or I'm open to compromise, meeting Sag where they are. This is really positive energy that I wasn't expecting. Okay, but I do think like this person is recognizing the value of the relationship with you. The 2 of Pentacles, the 9 of Pentacles is a healthy energy. They're realizing they need to make some decisions to make some changes here or come towards you in a different energy to make this work. I think if they do that, you're still open. You are still open to this. 5 of Wands in reverse. Let's heal things. The final outcome. I was thinking this was you being like, you know what? Peace out. I don't want any drama. I don't want any friction. But I don't think that's the case. I don't think you're worried about drama or friction. You can handle that. What you worry about is repair. And that should be in every relationship. Every relationship will experience drama or friction or fracture or disagreements. The ones that last are the ones where two people can work together to repair and come together. So the Five of Wands in reverse tells me that repair certainly can happen. All right, we see the Two of Wands, a big decision to be made, but Two of Wands is about moving forward towards the Ten of Pentacles. This might actually be something that strengthens your relationship. And the Page of Cups, an apology, a love offer, a new beginning here in love. I am very pleasantly surprised here, Sag. I mean, you have no idea. I'm so pleasantly surprised. This person is hurting. This person is disappointed, but they don't want to let you go. They want to repair this. Now, I'm not saying that if this person was abusive or they cheated or there were some deal breakers that you should try to work on this. But to me, it feels like there was early tension in this relationship, Sag. And you have somebody who's not happy with that. They're not happy with the way they acted. They're not happy with the way things are going. And they're doing introspection and seeing that they want a future here and that they're willing to, maybe not necessarily bend over backwards, but meet you where you are. Find that compromise. And Saggies, you can work with that. You're showing me that with the Queen of Wands, the Ace of Cups, the Page of Wands, who's kind of looking back. You can deal with that. You can work with that. Ooh, I love this. All right, let's keep going. Anything else my Sagittarius need to know about this person, please? Anything else my Sagittarius need to know about this person, please? Promises. Yep, some of you, maybe this person has made empty promises in the past. I can see why that would be very triggering. Again, pattern recognition. Does this person follow through? Now, this can also be an energy of them maybe not being completely what they seem. Okay. We see room service, do not disturb. We see hotel. Okay. So like this is kind of like this tells me that a lot of you, this hasn't really been or didn't get to a higher level of commitment. But we see here, there's potential for that. There's potential for that. This fissure, this tension, depending on how it's handled, if you both want repair, it may bring this connection into a higher level of commitment. We see evidence now, room service, hotel, and promises. Some of you, this is a third-party situation, and you know that. You knew that going into it. Okay, that's not going to be for all of you. All right? But that's very interesting energy to come through. Some of you, too, this person with the Justice card in reverse and the Ace of Cups in reverse, this person is single, but they're waiting on a divorce to be finalized. And some of you might feel like, I don't know, is this actually happening? Or they're like, it's taking too long, or they promised this would be done already. You know, I'm kind of getting there may be like an element of secrecy around your connection. Not necessarily because it's third party in the traditional sense that, you know, they're married and you're seeing each other secretly. Of course, you guys know your stories better than I do. And I'm not here to necessarily judge anybody. But what I'm seeing is, like for some of you, that is the case. Like some of my Saggies, you're like, this, you know, this person's been promising they'd, you know, this divorce was going to be finalized already and we could be open about our relationship. And it hasn't, you know, that hasn't happened. So I could see you getting a little bit frustrated. But it like I said, I'm also seeing like you're waiting to see how this person acts. Can they be somebody who's going to be more than just a lover or a fling? I see that they can be, okay? And we see opposites attract. So you two might be very different, okay? Gemini energy possibly, but I'm seeing like you and this person could be very different, but opposites attract. You can, you know, have what each other needs, all right? I feel like there's hope here, right? Again, be very careful with these messages. I'm not trying to tell you to put yourself in a third party situation or heal something with someone who, you know, isn't honest or somebody who did you dirty. Okay. So just be I want to be very clear about that. Let's see. Cause it feels like a very specific message here for my Saggies. All right. Sagittarius, you and this person are comfortable together. This person is a good communicator or will be coming in with good communication and honest. See, that's what we want to see. We see judgmental. They're making a decision once and for all to turn things around, to meet you halfway, to get that divorce, like make it happen, whatever it might be, and they have integrity. See, this is what we want to see. This is why, excuse my language, this is why this reading feels like a fuck yeah after tension. It feels like a fuck yeah because we see comfortable together, good communicator, honest, has integrity, judgmental. It feels like there's been a rift. There's been tension. This person does want to repair and they're coming in honesty, and it feels like it's something and someone that you can trust. All right, so let's go ahead and see what they want to say to you, Sag. What does this person want to say to my Sagittarius, please? I know that I crossed the line with you, okay, or they made you wait too long, or, you know, they were being too stubborn, like they weren't being fair, all right, and I still have feelings for you, that's the truth. I'm not financially stable. Some of you with this promises energy, you know, and, you know, maybe this person doesn't have as much as they maybe made you believe they have, or they didn't want to tell you they have all this debt, or, you know, their job or their work isn't as stable, but they want to make amends. See, this is the reading. They want to repair. And I feel like they want to honestly, and it feels like they want to meet you where you are. And, you know, like I said, repair is what makes a relationship last, not just the good times. All right, so let's go ahead and see. What else do we need to know? What does this person want my Saggies to know at the soul level? So they may not be able to articulate this, but what do they want my Sagittarius to know? Your intensity frightens and allures me at the same time. Yeah, I could see that. Take that as flattery. All right. And I feel badly for the way that I treated you. You didn't deserve that. I know I crossed the line. Now, again, I'm not saying if somebody hit you or insulted you or something like that, that it's okay, go ahead. They honestly want to fix things. No. But I do feel like this person is realizing they didn't act right. Okay. They didn't act right, or they didn't act in a fair and just way. And they want to fix that. Okay, so be very, very clear. If this person mistreated you and it's a deal breaker, physical harm, violence, you know, or even like really nasty verbal abuse, no, hard no. But I'm not getting that here in this reading. You've been in my dreams, Sag, and the grass wasn't greener on the other side. Now, I'm not really getting third party energy here. Okay, I'm really not. But I'm getting the grass wasn't greener on the other side is like the little taste of separation from you, Sag. It wasn't pretty. They didn't like it. They don't want it. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and see what else we need to know. What else do my Sagittarius need to know about this person? What else do we need to know here? Heartbroken. Yep, see, this is the energy I'm getting. They're heartbroken. Ace of Cups in reverse. They're deeply hurt during the separation. They're feeling lost. They don't want this breakup. They're grieving. They're mourning. And they're doing some introspection. You and this person mirror each other in a lot of ways. You're comfortable with one another. I do think you get each other deeply. All right, your energy. Now, this is big. We've been exploring how this person feels. We're exploring this person's integrity, their honesty, how they're coming around to you. I can see that you are frustrated in this relationship, but you are lacking some confidence, although I do think you're open to seeing where things go. But I do think that you're worried that this person sabotaged this connection. I do think that you're worried about fear and ego issues, jealousy, and you're worried. I do think you're not super confident in this connection. It's kind of like, let's wait and see. Let's see how this person acts. All right, and palm tree, because you are stable. This is what you offer, stability and security, and you want somebody to do the same. But I do think that there's a little bit of a flip here in, you know, that mutable energy. Like, give yourself room here to change your mind, because stability, security, permanence, growth, endurance, and flexibility. There's a need for flexibility here if you want this to work. But I do get a couple of hits with the Ten of Pentacles and the Page of Cups that you might go from this isn't enough, or this probably won't work out, to, oh, maybe there can be something stable and secure here. Okay, because of the repair. Now, for some of you, that may not be the case. The relationship is over, no second chances, grow and transform your life. I do feel like you're prepared for that. I feel like this person is worried about that. And we also see that right now they might be watching. I don't think they're stalking, but it might seem like they're focusing out, but they are still watching you. Of course, that could be your energy as well. All right, let's go ahead and see what are their very next actions towards my Sagittarius. What are this person's very next actions towards Sagittarius? Six of Coins coming in to make it up to you. All right, they're hurt, they're disappointed. They haven't said everything they need to say. Queen of Swords in reverse, and they have been stressing. But they're coming in to make it up to you. They're going to let you know they've been stressing about losing you. We saw that with the heartbreak energy. This breakup, they're feeling lost. They're grieving. They're mourning. You know, they haven't said it, but they're going to tell you soon. And we see the Knight of Wands in reverse, and we see the Ace of Wands. So they're less than confident, but they are going to give it a go. Ace of Wands energy. All right, let's see what Spirit's advice is for my Sagittarius. Advice for my Sagittarius, please. Advice and guidance for my Sagittarius, please. Let go gently. Detachment doesn't require bitterness. Now, it may be you letting go of this person or this connection, but for a lot of you, it's what's happened here. Okay, so there is a need to detach from what's happened and to leave any sort of bitterness or resentment behind if you plan on moving forward with this person. It's not yours to manage or repair. It does look like this person is the one that needs to come in and show you that they're capable of repair, how they're going to repair. Don't personalize the pause. Not everything is about you and not everything requires response. So I do think the pause that you may have experienced here may be just this person recalibrating, all right, taking a really good hard look at what they want. And stay open but not attached. And I feel like that's where you are right now. All right. And we see clarity comes from distance. Stepping back will allow truth to surface for you and for them. And if it matters, Sagittarius, it deserves a voice. If it matters, say it. All right. I'm going to leave it here. I'm sending you love and light. Take care.